Welcome to the Touch MBA Admissions Podcast, where we discuss all things related to MBA admissions and how to get into your number one school. If you want to know more about this program, check out our website at touchmba.com. What's up, future MBA All-Stars? This is Darren, host of the No BS MBA Admissions Podcast, where we get straight to the point and discuss how you can find and get into the best MBA programs for you. Well, this past week, I was helping a client prepare for an interview with a top MBA program, and I thought that we could use this episode to talk more about how you can ace the interview. Right? Interviews are extremely nerve-wracking. You're not sure what the MBA program is going to ask you. You feel like you have 110 questions to prepare for. You're not even sure what they're really looking for. So what I'd like to do here is reveal the questions behind the questions that MBA programs are really trying to get at. If you can answer these 4 questions in a compelling way, you stand a great chance of being admitted into the program. Okay, what are these 4 questions behind the questions? They are, why are you here? What can you do for us? What distinguishes you from other applicants? And what kind of person and team member are you? So let's get into each of these questions in more detail. All right, let's start with the first one. Why are you here? What they mean by this is, why are you knocking on my door rather than someone else's door? And have you researched this school? You need to have rock solid 1 to 3 minute answers to why SMU, why an MBA, and why now to achieve your career goal. So some of you might have heard me just say SMU. For the sake of this podcast, I'm just going to assume that you're applying to a school called SMU, okay? You need to have rock-solid answers to those 3 questions. And like I said in last week's episode, always show movement when you're answering these why MBA, why now, why SMU type of questions. So don't say, well, I'm applying to SMU MBA program to improve my business skills. Okay, there's no context there, there's no movement, there's no details. Instead, show where you've been and where you want to go to, and what forces are making you choose this route, whether those are market forces or social forces or technology forces or, just where you are in your career. So a better example to give would be, well, I've been an account manager for the past 3 years. And even though I've learned a lot about managing relationships, negotiations, and delivering excellent product to my customer, I feel I'm really lacking in big picture strategic thinking skills, and I also am lacking in the hard skills like accounting and finance that will help me become a leader in the advertising industry. I need these core business skills to take the next step in my career. Even though it's still quite generic, it's a more engaging answer because there's movement involved, right? So always show movement when you're answering the why questions, okay? And on that note, make sure you have a good answer for why this location. If you're going to study at Singapore Management University, have a great answer for why you want to study in Singapore. If you're targeting Duke in North Carolina, have a great reason for studying in North Carolina in the United States. Finally, a question I can guarantee all interviewers will ask you is, what questions do you have for us about the program? Make sure you have at least 2 to 3 good questions prepared for the interviewer that you couldn't find on the website or school brochure. Okay, so in other words, don't ask, well, could you tell me more about the electives in the program? Okay, if you do that, that answer is going to meet with a thud. Dun, dun, dun. That's not a good answer, right? Because it shows you haven't done any research on the MBA program. You're about to spend $50,000, $100,000 on an MBA program, and you don't even know what the electives for that school are. That's a bad question to ask. You need to ask a question where the information is not available on the website or on the brochure. Okay, show the interviewer that you've done the research, that you're passionate about this school, and that you're really motivated to learn, and you're not just chasing the paper degree. Okay, enough with the first question, why are you here? Let's move to the second question, which is, what can you do for us? To me, this is actually the most important question you have to be able to answer in the interview. What they mean by this is, if I were to admit you, would you be part of the problems we already have, or would you be part of the solution to those problems? So are you going to come here and contribute and add to this program, or are you going to be another problem I have to deal with? So what are the biggest problems for a business school? They are career placements, academic ineptitude, and students who have a bad attitude and expect the school to do everything for them. So the biggest solutions would be to do the exact opposite. Show that you have a realistic and clear career plan. Show that you're employable, that you're articulate, that you have strong communication skills, that you'll be able to represent the program well in front of future employers. Show them that, yes, although you have a solid GMAT score and you have a solid GPA and academic background, you're also going to be able to contribute to the classroom discussion, that you're able to articulately talk about your past work experiences, and that you're intellectually curious and interested in other companies or other industries or other functions of business. Finally, give evidence that you will contribute to the MBA program. And the best way to do this is show how you've contributed to your community in the past. Now, by community, in quotes, what I mean is, how you've impacted others around you. So this doesn't have to be, you started your own NGO, right? This could be simply how you impacted your family, how you impacted your friends, how you impacted your workplace, or how you impacted your small volunteer group. Show that you take the initiative, you contribute, you add to the communities that you are in. Have some examples there. Okay? So, in summary, be part of the solution for the MBA program, not part of their problem. Okay, let's move to the third question. What distinguishes you from other applicants? And what they really mean by this is, what is the unique perspective that you will bring to the class? And what makes you different from others that have a similar background as you? So I've talked about this in previous podcasts. The way to really engage your listener and make them more interested in you and keep their attention is to break the common stereotypes of people that have a similar background as you. So the most common stereotype in the MBA admissions game is the Indian male who has an engineering degree, who has worked in the IT industry for 3 years and wants an MBA so he can move into consulting or start his own business. Admissions officers have seen that type of applicant so many thousands and thousands and thousands of times that even if they're extremely well qualified, they don't capture admissions officers' attention just because they've seen them so many times. So what you need to do in the interview is, if that's your background, for example, break that stereotype. Show in your interview that you're not just a whiz when it comes to IT, but that you have passions outside of work and that you've shown leadership in your community, or that you're really passionate about this traditional instrument and started this community around this instrument, or you do shows, or whatever it is. Everybody is unique, so focus on those aspects of yourself and those passions that you have that are unique to you and different than most of your peers. Let's go to the fourth and final question behind the question. What kind of person and team member are you? And what they mean by this is, will you fit in here? Do you have the kind of personality that makes it easy for people to work with you? And do you share the values that we have at this place? So, of course, the first step there is to make sure you know what the values are of the program you're interviewing with. And the second thing is to have a good template to answer the kinds of questions that are going to fall under this category. And what are some of the common questions? Tell me about your strengths. Tell me about your weaknesses. Tell me about a time you took the initiative and went above and beyond. Can you tell me about a time where you motivated a reluctant person, or that you overcame a team challenge? Can you tell me about a leadership example, or what your greatest accomplishment is? How would your friends describe you? How would your colleagues describe you? Is there anything else we should know? And yes, that is a ton of questions, but all of us have faced these situations, and what you need here is a concise way of conveying what kind of person and team member you are, right? So I found a good template to answer this question is the STAR acronym. So STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. Okay, so if the admissions committee asks you to tell them about your greatest strength, don't say, my greatest strength is sales. Instead, use the STAR formula, situation, task, action, result. What was the situation? We were a startup and we were trying to introduce our gift product to the largest department stores in Singapore. T for task. Well, because we were a new company, there's very low brand awareness of our product. So we had to figure out some way to get in front of the purchasers of these large department stores. Then talk about what action you took. I decided that the best way to get in front of them was simply to cold call them. Because we had no contacts in Singapore, this was really the only thing we could do. So I cold called 10 of the largest department stores in Singapore and asked if I could meet up with their purchasers. And then talk about your result. Even though I was only able to meet up with three purchasers, within one meeting each, I was able to convince them to sell our product during the busy Christmas holiday season. And as a result of this effort, we were in 3 out of the 5 largest department stores in Singapore during Christmas, and we absolutely blew it out. We sold over 10,000 units of our product. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful for you. Always keep in mind these 4 questions behind the questions. Why are you here? What can you do for us? What distinguishes you from other applicants? And what kind of person, team member are you? If you can convincingly answer these 4 questions, you're going to have a great chance of getting into your dream MBA program. And last tip, always remember to send a thank you note to your interviewers the night of or the day after your interview. This will show the admissions committee that you're professional, you have good follow-up skills, and you'd likely do the same thing if you were applying for a job. That's all, folks. Don't be shy. If you have questions that you would like answered on the show, let us know at touchmba.com. See you soon.